In this lecture, we are going to talk about keyframe easing. Here we have 4 motorcycles, a very simple animation. They go from point A to point B. I'm gonna focus on the first motorcycle. I'm gonna select the layer, motorcycle 1, and I'm gonna zoom in. Here we have the motion path. It goes from here to here. Keyframe 1, keyframe 2. And in between, we can see there are very small dots on the motion path. These dots represent the position of the motorcycle at each frame. So I'm gonna move frame by frame and you're gonna understand what I mean. Next frame, next frame, next frame, next frame, next frame, and it goes like this. Each frame, the motorcycle goes a little bit further like this, but you notice the distance between the small dots is equal, is the same distance. So when we play the animation, we notice the speed of the motorcycle stays the same from second 1 to second 2. It doesn't change, it's static, same speed. I'm gonna move to motorcycle 2. Here we have the same regular animation, the same as motorcycle 1, but I'm gonna apply a modification. I'm gonna select both these keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and I'm gonna choose easy ease in. I click and right away we notice that things have changed. Now we have a big distance between these small dots, and as we go the distance becomes smaller and smaller like this until we get here. Now the dots are very, very close. What does that mean? That means that the speed of the motorcycle, it starts fast and then gets slower and slower over time. I'm gonna play the animation. Play it one more time. I'm gonna bring motorcycle 1 so you can compare the two. You notice starts fast, especially when you compare it to the other motorcycle, and then slows down like this. The two keyframes still selected. I'm gonna click here, graph editor, and here we have edit value graph. This represents the X and Y value, the position of the motorcycle. We notice the green one represents the Y value. It stays the same over time, but the other one, the red one, it goes from here to here, from this position to this position. I'm gonna click here, edit speed graph. I'm gonna choose edit speed graph, and now we get a visual representation of the speed. Here it's about 1500 pixels per second, and towards the ending becomes less than 400 pixels per second. So starts fast and then gets slower and slower over time. I'm gonna play. And you can see how the speed changes over time. I'm gonna go back I click on the graph editor again. I go back and I'm gonna move to the third motorcycle. Same regular normal animation. I'm gonna select the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and this time I'm gonna choose easy ease out. And this is exactly the opposite. If we zoom in, we notice the distance between these dots is very close in the beginning, and then the distance becomes larger and larger over time. That means the motorcycle starts slowly and then it goes faster and faster over time. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna bring the motorcycle 1 so you can compare the two. You notice it's very slow in the beginning, especially when you compare it to motorcycle 1, and then catches up, the speed goes up just like this. Gonna hide this one. Two keyframes are selected. I'm gonna go to graph editor. We have edit speed graph selected. You noticed here starts very slow. This is the speed, very slow, and then gets higher and higher and higher over time. I go back. I'm gonna hide motorcycle 3. I move to motorcycle 4. I'm gonna select the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant. This time I'm gonna choose easy ease. I can click here or use the shortcut F9. We're gonna use this a lot. Keyframes selected, and I press F9 to easy ease, and now I'm gonna zoom in, and this easy ease is a combination of both. You notice there is a small distance between the dots in the beginning and in the end, and there is a large distance towards the middle. That means the motorcycle, it starts slowly and then fast in the middle and then gets slow again towards the ending. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna bring back motorcycle 1 so you can compare. Start slow, fast in the middle, and then slow again. I click on the graph editor, and this is a visual representation of the speed. Starts from 0, goes up and then down again, and you notice this is much smoother if you compare it with the regular linear movement. This one seems robotic, this one seems more organic and more natural. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna bring back all the motorcycles. I'm gonna play. You notice they start all in the same position. They end up in the same position, but in the middle there is a significant difference between the 4. One last thing, if we wish to cancel the effect, all we have to do is select the keyframes like this, press and maintain control, and then click, and now the effect is gone and we're back to regular keyframes. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Select both, press and maintain control, click, select both these keyframes, press and maintain control, and now we're back.